Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Unsupervised. Today, I have my mom with me and my great aunt, who we call Auntie. So, I was thinking about topics, and I thought, what better than having two beautiful women do this podcast with me today? Because I was thinking dating in my generation is really, really hard. And I kind of wanted, maybe your guys' advice and also how it was dating when you guys were younger. Today, the conversation is going to be about dating through three generations: the 1960s, the 1990s, and my generation. So yeah, today. So let's start off by you guys telling us how long you've been married. Auntie, you could start.
Okay, I'll start. Auntie A. And I have to stop and think. I've been married just recently, 58 years.
Oh, God bless.
On November 18th, 1967.
Yeah.
It's been a long, long time.
58 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
58 wonderful years. A little bit.
Mommy, you? How long?
And Daddy and I have been married 32 years. It was 32 years last October. So this year will be 33 years.
So both of you a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I think you don't really see that today often. There's so much divorce in the world. So, I think it's beautiful. So, Auntie, if you want to start and tell us how dating was back in the 60s.
I have to start by saying it was a lot of fun.
Aw.
We live on Staten Island, and it's a very close community. Mm-hmm. Everyone almost knew everyone else. Mm-hmm. And the boys that I dated, every one of them were gentlemen. I have never gone out with a boy that was not a gentleman. And when they asked me to go out on a date, we would go to clubs and we would dance. But first, they had to come to my house, knock on the door.
They did, huh?
Ring the doorbell, and either I would answer it or my father.
Was that an expectation that you set?
Or did just the boys do that in that time?
Yeah.
The boys did it, and this is what my parents expected. Mm-hmm. No one was going to open up the door and let me run out and get in a car.
Without meeting them, right?
Without meeting them. They met every boy I ever dated.
Now, was that standard, like for all your girlfriends? Did any of them not have that expectation, or was that just for our family?
No, I don't remember that. It was all my girlfriends. There was a girl who lived up the street. Oh, I hope she doesn't see that. Every time her boyfriend came, she ran out the door.
There was families that accepted, like, oh, I don't need to meet the guys. It wasn't really then the generation.
No.
It was more about...
It wasn't my family.
No.
Who do you blame then for today being so different? Do you blame the children in today's generation or the parents of today's generation?
I don't want to say the parents because then I would be putting it on you. But
it's changed as well, though.
Well, I think
it did change.
Not that the expectation isn't there, because it is there. It's like we always wanted to see who you were going out with come in the house. But sometimes you would say, "Oh no, he doesn't want to come in. We're rushing. We're gonna go meet people."
Well, but that's also because I think in the 60s, and you could speak for the 90s, when you were talking to a boy, that really meant you were dating. Where in today's generation, there's the situationships and, oh, we're just seeing each other, but it's not exclusive. Where that didn't really happen then. It was, if you're taking me out on dates 3 times out of the week, you're dating. So I think that's also where in our generation, it's, if a guy's going to come take me on a date, no, I don't need you to meet my parents. That's too soon because we don't know what we are.
Was it like that?
See,
exactly.
So I think with your generation, you did date as soon as he took you out on dates. It was called dating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Until you don't want to date anymore, or you got dished.
Yeah, but that was cool. You would consider dating a guy if he took you out on a couple of dates.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
yeah, not us.
All right, so that's where it changed even for my generation, because your generation, if they took you out on a couple of dates, you were dating him. In my generation, in let's say the late 80s and 90s, you could be seeing someone. which means I'm
But
seeing
that's
him.
dating. If
Yeah,
you say today, I'm seeing someone, that means you're exclusive.
okay, see, but it was also like a guy would ask you out to say, you want to go out, let's go on a date, and then it would be considered dating. But you said nowadays it's not considered that.
No, a guy could take you on a date and it could just be like.
One date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So what did the asking out process look like? Did they say to you, I want to go steady with you? That word?
Think about
No,
with BTM, your husband. How was dating with him?
First of all, I met my husband
Oh, this is a story.
on a ski weekend up in Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts. Actually, I not only met him, I met two other persons that
Oh, you
night.
dirty dog.
She was a
Yeah.
hot tamale.
They happened to be all friends, which I didn't know at the time. But
Scandalous.
one called me first, and I hope he doesn't see this either. And the second one was Big Tom
Was
Mack.
Tom. But
And
you knew you
actually-
liked him.
I did right away.
Right away.
It was his look. My girl from Maryland and I was skiing, which we couldn't do. And then we wound up
Lodge.
right? And he was, of course, behind the bar. He's an Irishman. And traveling home, we were on separate buses back to New York City. And we traveled home. And we stopped at this one truck stop, I guess, to get something to eat. And lo and behold, same girl that was holding on to his strings the night before walked in, still holding on to his
No.
strings, to the same restaurant as I was walking out, paying for my dinner. And he asked me for my number.
So he liked you.
So he knew, it seems, really fast as well.
I don't know. He took my number, and the rest is history.
So wait, so he took your number, you guys went home. How soon after did he call you?
Someone else called me first. His friend.
And at that point, it was home phones, right? There was no cell phones.
no.
So it
no
was.
cell phones, no beepers.
So basically, it was if you called the
With a
house
cord.
phone, your father would pick up.
Anyway, he was on one bus with his group, and I was on another bus with my girl from Maryland, and got home, and I went to work, and got a phone call the following week,
From
the
him.
following week, okay.
and it just so happened that I worked on Fifth Avenue, and he worked on Park Avenue.
He worked
2
for
blocks.
Colgate.
He worked for Colgate. I worked for Olivetti Underwood Typewriters. And he asked me if I wanted to go to lunch. So I said, sure. And he took me to the Drake Hotel. Lunch.
There we go. That's the problem again with today's generation. It wouldn't be lunch.
No. But it would be then, boy.
But it was also a different time back then, I think, where it was a progression. You asked somebody out on a date, you took them on a date, you got to
was
know them.
courting them.
It was courting them, or as my grandmother, Auntie's mother, would say, keeping company.
Right, right.
So for you, how was it dating like Daddy in the 90s?
Yeah, so it's similar in a way. I met Daddy through my best friend at the time was dating Daddy's best friend at the time. She said, I want you to meet him. This guy, he's great, he's funny, he's a lot of fun, a lot of friends. But we went out together, my girlfriends. Met Daddy.
So it was a
there.
group date?
No. I saw him. I went out with Maria that
Oh, okay.
night, and then he was there at this local place called the Rustic Inn. We would all go on Staten Island. He was there coming out of a ski weekend with a bunch of his friends, and he started talking to me, and he said, "Oh, I give me your number." And then I said, "No, I'm not going to give you my number. No, I wanted to kind of get to see if I liked him a little
And
bit."
yours was no cell phones yet either,
No
right?
cell phones. He walks to the bathroom, and I see him talking to another girl at the bathroom.
Oh.
The thing. And I was like, "That's all right. Don't even worry. I wouldn't give him my number." And I told you the story. It's the famous story. He said to me, "If you don't give me your number, I'm going to follow you home." I said, "If you follow me home, I'm going to call the police." He said, "I am the police."
Daddy and his pickup line.
Never gave him my number. He asked my friend when we get the next day for my phone number, and she called me and she said, "Is it okay if I give him your phone number?" I said, "Well, I'm not going to call him, whatever it is. He wants to call me." And he asked me out for Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day was our first date. And
But what made you want to go?
well, I wanted to go because Grandma Joanna, my mother, said, always go on one date. Never say no. Go on one date. And after one date, if you don't like them, then don't take another date. But you don't know. And I really didn't have any expectations. Picked me up. He had a dozen. It was Valentine's Day. He had a dozen roses for me, a dozen roses for Grandma.
Oh, wow.
Took me to Laura Bell's in
So
Manhattan.
let's stop there for a second. So Daddy wasn't raised to know those things. So what made
That you're
men
gonna have to ask him. I don't know if it was all men, but Daddy did. Daddy pursued, and that's what I always say to you: when a man wants you, they don't
Right.
have any pride with it. They will call you a million times. They'll come get you. They'll pick you up. Next day, he called me. What are you doing? We'll go to dinner. He worked as a police officer in Manhattan, so when he was off, he was always over. I'll pick you up. We'll go, and we were engaged within a few months.
So when you guys went on dates with your boyfriends at the time, now husbands, was there ever a date where it was you guys paying, or was it always the man?
Not in the 60s. No,
It was
we
always the
didn't
man?
pay, and the men, they were happy to do that.
Yep.
They had jobs.
Yep.
They had good jobs, and they were very, very nice. And then even when they brought you home, they walk us in
Yes.
the house until we opened the door and said goodnight.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would agree.
There was
I didn't.
never?
From the time I met Daddy, I never paid for a thing.
No.
Not only that, I never drove my car.
Mm-hmm.
And we both had cars, right? Because I had just started working, so I had gotten myself a new car. Daddy did not have a new car. So you would have thought that he would have said, I'll drive, but let's take your car, right?
No, he never.
Never did.
The men and the women knew the gender roles,
They
because
knew.
today there's
And I have to
there's
just
no
inject a little.
yeah.
They're still paying.
I blame the parents too. I pray that I have a son, because there's so much that I wouldn't tolerate.
Right?
Then you have to teach him that.
Yes.
Teach from
Teach
the
him how to be a
start.
gentleman.
A gentleman.
So how soon after your first date did you know
Well,
he was
I'll
the
tell-
one?
Well, I knew I liked him with that look that he gave me when we went in to get a hot cocoa. And he was behind the bar making drinks. He had that look. Just had that look.
He had it.
You were just very
That it
attracted to
factor.
him.
And it was the end of January that I met him. And Valentine's Day was coming up. And talk about roses. Valentine's Day, the front doorbell rang, and it was a delivery service, and it was a dozen red roses. I said, oh, these can't be for me. They have to be for my sister Joanna. Your
My mom.
my mommy, and your grandma. Because Joanna was always getting roses. My beautiful sister.
Oh.
And I opened up the door, brought the roses in, and to her dismay,
They were for you.
They were for you.
they were for me, from Big Tom Mac.
So
See,
he,
that was
he
the
knew.
beginning.
That was the beginning, and to talk about that, the courtship of it all, and the wooing, which is different. And my friends that I worked with back in New York, I worked at a hospital in New York. Every Friday, I got a dozen roses delivered to my desk at work. That my friends would say, from John.
Really?
A dozen red roses every day that my friends would say, why does he give them on a Friday? Because then you have to, they won't even be at the office for the whole week. Tell him to start sending them on a
Monday.
Monday. And then he
That's
did. He
right.
switched it to a Monday. Daddy did that for oh my gosh, I want to say almost a year. Almost a year. A dozen red roses every week like that. So it was you didn't have to wonder. And I always say
There was
that
no games.
There was no games. And I say, if you have to wonder if they like you and you have a question about it, they don't like you. Because when you know, you know. And when they know, they know. And if they do like you, they'll pursue you.
What makes you know? Just the fact that there's no games?
They say they're going to do something, they do it. I'll pick you up at 7.
Right.
They're there at 7. There's no, oh, I had a flat tire. Oh, I got
Right.
stuck at work. Oh, I can't. There's no excuses. They're there. They check on you. They call every day. What are you doing? You just know. You know that feeling when things just feel right, and you could feel it in your
Comfortable.
soul. You feel comfortable with
Comfort.
them.
You're in a comfort
Right.
zone.
And I said that with Daddy when I met him. You know, we got engaged very quickly. Our first date was February. We got engaged the end of May. Our
Wow.
engagement period
Was
was
that
a year
normal
and a half.
then, though?
No, that was quick. That was quick even for
Yeah.
back then. But I said he felt like home to me. Like I was very comfortable with him from the very beginning. Like I just knew that it was something that I could say, I'm not nervous around him.
So how long after you guys were dating did he propose? Did it take him a while?
My mom and my
when-
Aunt Arlene got married exactly 1 year apart.
Right.
1966
Both
was my
November.
mom, and 1967 was yours.
See, we got married in 67.
You got married in 67, and she
and
was
I met
22.
him, I guess, 2
20
years before him.
Okay, so she was 23 22 when she got married. You were
Right.
22 when
Wow.
you got married, but you met him when you were 20?
Yeah.
When you were 20. So she
Almost
dated a year.
longest 2 years.
And then she was engaged for a year.
Right. He had taken me up up the New York Thruway to meet his friends. And when we left driving home on the New York State Thruway,
He proposed.
yes,
Today,
Don't date a man more than a year without him asking you to marry you.
yep,
Then it's a waste of
there's
time.
women dating for 5 to 7 years, still no ring. And I think that's also the problem, that the women today accept too much. At that point, you leave.
that's right.
Within 1 year, I would say would be the maximum time. Now, this is not, I'm talking about like for younger kids that are dating 19, 20 years
No,
old.
when you're at
That's
the
when you
age
should
to get married,
Right,
yeah.
but when you're at the age, and whatever age that is for you, when you're looking for a husband, in the same thing with men. If you're dating him for a year and there has been no talk about getting engaged or getting married, he doesn't want you.
And I also think there's going to be confusion with that. Like, oh, what if, we've been dating for a year, but, we're not financially stable at the moment. If you're in your 20s, not financially stable, you shouldn't be dating.
Right, focus on your career then.
Yeah.
Focus, but don't string a woman along. Wouldn't you
Right.
agree?
Absolutely.
And for a man.
Absolutely.
It was different.
Uh-huh.
But I think today everything is disposable with so many things. The next best thing. And I think back then.
So it's social media.
But also in Auntie's generation, even in my generation, there was more value to things. Even like talk about marriage.
Morals.
But even when you had an argument or you had a disagreement in your marriage, and you have them, we've all had them, you try to work your way through to navigate through to find a solution. Now it's, let me scroll up, let me like this person's Instagram.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I wanted to get into. My generation failed in dating is the ability to access anything. There's dating apps.
Too easy.
Just
Too
social
easy.
media.
Too easy.
Everything is so accessible. You can,
Right.
you
Right.
think the grass is greener because you have access to Instagram and access to this, and you're like, ooh, this girl or this guy is. Where in your generation, you didn't
Right.
have that.
Right. No. Listen, there's been a lot of advances made through technology, but I think social media was the beginning
It
of
ruined
the
us.
end of real true marriages, because like I said, it's looking for somebody else on there.
Too easy.
Too easy. Everything, we are in a society where it's by the moment.
Yeah.
Look, you could order a package and it could be delivered at your house within 3 hours. Anything you want. That's even unheard of. So from what we're used to, it's there was waiting to it. There was time invested in it. Now it's
Nothing
if I
means
can't,
anything.
If I can't get it immediately, then I don't want it. I replace everything. Back then, even getting cars, you kept cars for years. Today, it's you lease it. You get rid of it when you turn it over within 2 years.
Because
you get a
there's
new one.
always something
Except my
better.
car.
Except
It's a
your car.
2013.
But that's your
But
generation.
that's your generation.
I love it.
Right.
I
That's your
love it.
generation.
That's your generation. But people don't keep things generally on the broader spectrum from everything any longer. When it loses that shiny new smell for
Right.
anything,
You get bored of it.
they will replace it for the next
Yeah.
shiny new object. Can I say also one thing before because this is another thing that's on my mind, that I say years ago, men had to go through the discomfort and the anxiety of calling your house. And who picked up the phone? It could be the father, it could be the mother, it could be a sister, it could be an uncle. Go through a little bit of the ribbing. Oh, how you doing? Making conversation with whoever picked up
And
the
the
phone.
it's just the
and the effort.
efforts.
Okay, finally, after maybe the phone was talked through three
Yeah.
people, passed on to me. Now it's a
Texting.
text. Now it's, hey, what are you doing? What do you feel like doing? And men don't make a plan. If you want to hang out,
That's also women to blame. I can't just sit here and point fingers at the men in today's generation, because I think the females, we allow it because we're so used to it being like this.
so you think the women have taught the men how to
Absolutely.
treat them?
Yes.
I think it's both ways. We, as women, are showing them, like you always tell me, how to treat you.
Right.
Right.
So my answer to that, and maybe Auntie would agree, is I don't know if you could change a man. If a man wants to be out there playing the field and doing that, then okay. But this is what you can control. You can control that I don't want that type of man in my life then. If I see a man that has a wandering
You can
eye,
control how a man treats you.
Right, only you. And you could, it doesn't take long to observe that. And if you see that and you don't like it, you're not going to say, well, I want you to be different and have a million
Move
fights.
on.
You move
Yeah.
on. You pick up and you say, okay, you know what? It was really great to meet you. I wish you well. It's just not working for me.
Men then loved the chase. Today, the women love the chase.
So you mean women will call the man first?
I have
Absolutely.
to tell you something that I always remembered. Monsignor McCormick, who married us, baptized us, he used to say, the man chases the woman until she catches him.
Right. So if you play the game right, and
that
so
came
to
from a
speak,
Monsignor.
I'm not going to be so available. I'm not going to be so available to a man, you know?
Yeah.
And I think tried and true, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully, but men are very simple creatures. We're much more complicated than a man. And one of the ways to keep a man interested, because men do like the chase, and they are hunters by nature, is intermittent reinforcement. So one date they ask you out,
The next you say no.
go. The next day they go, you want to meet for lunch? Even if you're doing nothing but watching
No,
TV.
I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have plans already. They don't need to know that. But
Right.
now you're not so accessible and you're not so available
And
all the time.
available,
And let them wonder where you are. Let them miss you. How could a man miss you if you're always available?
Distance makes the heart grow fonder, and it's so true. So if you can give one little tip of advice from dating in the 60s, Auntie, what would it be?
I would like them to try and live a little bit more the way we lived.
Yeah.
And what
In the
aspect?
in what aspect that you adhere to mom and dad's wishes.
So more obedience.
You knew how you had to act. And they
Be a
knew,
lady.
the men too that we dated knew morals.
Women then
Yeah.
were just beautiful ladies. Just the way that talk about high value women.
How
And
they
this-
carried themselves.
yes. Just-
Respect, I think, I think the major on both men and women, dating, married, is respect for the person.
Respect for the person, but I also
But I think
back
they
then
respected you because you respected yourself.
That's what I was going to say. You had respect for yourself, the way you carried yourself, the way you weren't going to tolerate certain things, and you set that boundary.
What would yours be from dating in the 90s? Any tip of advice?
Unfortunately, my advice is going to be impossible, and that's social media. I wish you could go back to
Right.
back then when not everything was posted, not
Right.
everything was a picture, not everyththing was at your fingertips.
Or everything was so sexualized.
What
as
about
well.
looking everything up and
Look,
finding
right,
who
yes,
they
and put
are?
even effort into that. Well,
Yeah.
we had encyclopedias that you don't
Yeah.
even know what
and
that
it's-
is.
An Encyclopedia Britannica.
Britannica, we had to look everything up. Now everything is at the moment, and I almost feel like what I wish for, I could never give to this generation because it's too far gone already. It's too far gone. We could talk forever. There's no shortage of talking.
We'll
here.
definitely do this again. I mean, I think you both have. I think there's so much to share, not just on dating. I think also gender roles. Maybe we could talk about that too. I think that's
that would be another great
huge.
topic.
But I hope everybody enjoyed.
I would like to say
Oh.
to my beautiful niece,
Yes.
Ez, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Auntie.
Aunt.
This was so much fun. Let's do this
Thank you.
again.
I know. We will.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you for
for
watching
watching
Unsupervised.
Oh, unsupervised.
And it's a wrap.